Basically, we are preparing to submit this proposed water tariff review to SPAN, which is the National Water Services Commission, after we have obtained approval from Penang State Exco. Okay. And as you know, this new water tariff will not burden the lower income group, whereby, afterwards I will explain to you, the lowest band, there is no increase, because we do not want to burden the lower income group and those who do not use too much water. But the main reason why we have to review the tariff is basically to avoid water rationing. As you all know, we already have a very long drought and we are managing okay until now, and we have to continue to manage our demand. Now, in water supply, there are two sides on how to manage the water supply system. One is the supply side, basically to prepare infrastructure, and to meet the future demand. And the other one is the water demand management side. So basically, is to manage the consumption pattern of the consumers. And one of the most effective mechanisms to manage consumption is by reviewing the water tariff. And this we have done taking into consideration all the requests from all the stakeholders. And as you can see, the directive given by the Penang State Government is we want to avoid water rationing at all costs. You all know what's happening in other parts of Malaysia, especially in Selangor. And those of you who have relatives or friends who are living there, they will be able to tell you how difficult the situation is. And it is costlier to live in a place where there is water rationing, because it involves a lot of upheavals in your daily life for the domestic consumers, and of course it has a very big impact on the businesses. Now, I want to bring you to the table. If you see on page 3, and those of you can see on the screen also, you can see under domestic consumers, we have the minimum charge. There is an increase of 50 cents. And the next column is the percentage change, which is 20%. And then the first 20 meter cube, it was 22 cents. And this band has been there since 1993. We have not reviewed this band. And so, for the first 20 meter cube, there is no increase. And the next band, 20 to 40 meter cube, we are increasing by 4 cents. And that constitutes a low increase of 9.5%. Then as you go higher, the increase is from 52 cents to 68 cents, which is an increase of 16 cents per meter cube, which constitute 30.77%. And you go higher, 60 to 200, the increase is from 90 cents to $1.70. That means increase of 27 cents or 30%. And for those domestic consumers who use too much water, more than 200 meter cube per month, the increase is 30 cents or 30%. So overall, if you average out the net increase, the percentage is around 20%. Okay? And then you go to the trade consumers. The minimum charge has been increased from $10 to $12. That means an increase of $2. giving a percentage change of 20%. The first 20 meter cube is from 66 cents to 85 cents, an increase of 19 cents, which gives a percentage increase of 28.79, and 20 to 40 is 89 cents to $1.05, which is a 16 cents increase, or 17.98. The 40 to 200, $1.15 to $1.30, another 15 cents increase to 13.04, and more than 200 is $1.27 to $1.45, which is an 18 cents increase, or 14.17. So we take the average for the trade consumers, there is an average increase of 18.8%. But the trade consumers is slightly lower than the domestic because in 2010, the trade consumers were already reviewed. Compared to the domestic, where the first band was only reviewed in 1993, and the rest of the band were reviewed in 2001. Okay, and the other increases are the trade specials, minimum charge from $10 to $12, increase of $2 or 20% change. And the other one is the flat rate. These trade specials are those meters installed at construction sites, you know, the worksheds. And from $1.52 to $3, an increase of $1.48 or 97%. And last one is the shipping. Minimum charge increased by $2 or 20%, and the flat rate increase of $1.69, which is an increase of 66.54. So overall, we can say that the average increase in water rates is 20%. Okay? And the key points that I want to stress here is that basically the tariff increase is to avoid water rationing. Now, we know that by 2020, our Sungai Muda River, which supplies more than 80% of Penang's water, will reach its limit. That is why you can see in previous press statements by the Chief Minister and the Chairman about the Sungai Perak raw water transfer scheme. And the Minister, Maximus Ongkili, has written to the CM saying that Penang cannot get the project going because we consume too much water. He says that if you can reduce the consumption, you can delay the implementation of this project. But how to reduce this consumption? Now, everywhere in the water industry knows that the most effective way is to review the tariff. But we are doing this without burdening the lower income group and those people who do not use too much water, as I have previewed just now. And still, although we have increased, for the first 35 meter cube, our domestic tariff is still the lowest in Malaysia. Afterwards, we see in the charts here. Whereas the trade tariffs, it is still below the national average of $1.45. And we also got a lot of requests for those with big families, and as you know, we have announced earlier, those families 8 and above, they can apply for a discount of 60% on the water conservation charges with effect from 1st May. And the extra revenue that we get from this tariff review will be fully utilized to finance our water supply infrastructure, our NRW management, our educational activities to persuade people to respect and value water, to promote water saving devices, and other related educational projects to raise the awareness of the people that we must have a sustainable water supply management. Now, I want to stress what is sustainable. Sustainable means so that we have enough water in the future for our children, our grandchildren, and our great-great-grandchildren. Okay? And if you look at the chart, attachment 1, this is where I mentioned to you, even after we review the tariff, it is still the lowest in the country. Okay? For 35 meter cube. And the next chart is for the trade. It is below the national average. And this will keep Penang to be competitive, to attract investors. The most important thing is, for investors, is they want a guarantee that they will have water supply, good quality, reasonable price water 24 hours a day. That is why PBAPP has been working very hard to make sure that there is no rationing in Penang. Okay? And then I want to move to this morning's level to tell you what is the water situation in Penang. Can you all go to this table? We are monitoring daily, very closely, the effective capacities in the 3 major dams. If you see, today is Friday 25th, in the morning, the effective capacity is 68.3. And you can see from this table, the level is stagnant. That means it's not coming down. What does that mean? That means the water that we take from the dam is equal to the water that is going into the dam. And we are being helped. We are having some rain these days. So it looks like the level in the dam is not coming down. Yeah? So we are balancing the inflow and the outflow so that the amount of water in the dam can last longer. Yeah? So how long can it last? It can last 67 days. But you all know that the last few days it has been raining. And you see how much rainfall. You look at the rainfall column at Aitam Dam. So far, in the month of April, we have 233 millimeter of rain. Okay? This is a healthy figure for April. And in Teluk Bahang, we have 219.25 millimeters of rain, and the effective capacity is at 69.7, and Teluk Bahang can last us another 212 days. And in Mengkuang, we have 185 millimeter of rain. Effective capacity is 37.2, and it can last us 62 days. Now, in my previous press statements, we have explained why Mengkuang is so low. Mengkuang level is low because it was lowered on purpose. As you all know, the Mengkuang Dam construction is going on. So we were requested to lower it to facilitate the construction of the dam. Yeah? And in return, the ministry, the dam contractor, which is under the ministry, has given a guarantee to the Penang State that if there is any shortfall, they will get it from Sungai Muda to fill the gap. Okay? And lastly, the most important is the Sungai Muda level. Okay? As you know, Sungai Muda supplies 80% of our water. So it is at a healthy level of 2.99 meters. The level that we are on the lookout is 2 meters. So if the level goes down to 2 meters, then we get anxious. Yeah? Okay? Now, next, I want to show you is the status of the application for the 60% discount. So in the table I've shown you, we have 9 customer care centers located strategically all over Penang State, and so far we have received 132 applications, and these applications will be processed, and from May 1st onwards, when they use the water from May the 1st, and then they should get their bill sometime in June, then we will know how much they consume, and if these applicants whose household is 8 and above, then we can give them that 60% discount. Okay? So far we have 132 applications. Okay, and lastly, about the weather. Okay? Now it is raining. Now, on the 23rd of April, the Director General of the Meteorological Department again stated that Malaysia might experience a second dry season from May to October. So, we have to be on our guard. Yeah? So that is why, for the long-term planning, for the long-term management, we have to bring down the high consumption in Penang. As you all know, it's 311 liters per person per day, and this is 50% above the national average. So the tariff review is being used to reduce this consumption, and we hope by introducing this tariff we are able to reduce the consumption, and so that when we reapply to the ministry to implement the Sungai Perak project, they would reconsider. Okay? Because as I mentioned earlier, the minister told Penang, told the chief minister that your consumption is too high. You have to reduce it, because if you can reduce it, you don't need the project now. Okay? So we have to go on this line parallel. Yeah? Okay? And as I mentioned earlier, these new tariffs will not burden the lower income people and those who do not use too much water. Okay? It is designed, it is structured to make sure those who use more water will pay more for the domestic consumers. Okay? Any questions? Tariffs to spend next week. So we cannot announce when we will implement it, because after they have approved it, then only we can announce. Okay? Because SPAN, as you know, is our regulator. They will look at all the relevant angles to see whether what we ask is fair and reasonable. Okay? We hope, besides reviewing the tariff, we also be continuing to persuade or promote wider usage of water-saving devices. So these have to go hand in hand on the water demand management side. Since 1993, how many years? Everything in this world has increased. The cost for us to send a water bill and collect the bill has also increased. So that is why it has to be reviewed. Yeah, it's not unreasonable. Yeah. So if you use very little water, the minimum charge, that means you're going to pay a water bill of only $6. Okay. So $6, you can't even buy a cup of coffee in Starbucks. But this is water for 2 months, you know. Okay?